The emergency klaxon screamed through the underground command center beneath Colorado Springs as Captain Jackson Rivers burst through the reinforced doors. His dark hair was still damp from the shower he'd abandoned when the alert came through, and his military uniform bore the wrinkles of someone who'd dressed in 30 seconds flat. The massive screens lining the walls displayed a sight that made his blood run cold. Hundreds of alien vessels hanging in Earth's orbit like metallic vultures. "Status report," Jackson barked, his steel-gray eyes scanning the chaos of the command center. General Tobias Stone turned from the central console, his weathered face grim. "They arrived 20 minutes ago. No warning, no preliminary contact, just appeared." He gestured to the largest screen where an alien face flickered to life, elongated features, silver skin, and eyes like liquid mercury. "People of Earth," the alien's voice resonated with cold authority. "I am War Commander Valdris of the Galactic Council. Your species has been deemed a threat to galactic stability. You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally, or face complete annihilation. Resistance is futile." The transmission cut to static, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Jackson felt his jaw clench. Throughout his 12 years of military service, he'd faced impossible odds before, but never anything like this. "Sir," a young communications officer called out, "Dr. Nova is requesting immediate access to the command center. She says it's urgent." Jackson's pulse quickened at the mention of Dr. Celeste Nova. The brilliant xenobiologist had been Earth's leading expert on theoretical alien contact protocols, though no one had expected to need her expertise quite so soon. More than that, she was the woman who'd been occupying his thoughts far more than military protocol should allow. The doors hissed open and Celeste rushed in, her long auburn hair flowing behind her like liquid fire. Even in crisis, Jackson couldn't help but notice how her emerald eyes sparkled with fierce intelligence, or how her fitted lab coat couldn't quite hide her curves. She'd been working late in her research facility when the alert came through, and her cheeks were flushed from running. "General Stone, Captain Rivers," she said breathlessly, her voice carrying that slight accent that made Jackson's heart skip. "I've been analyzing their transmission frequencies. There's something you need to know." Jackson stepped closer, catching a hint of her vanilla perfume mixed with the sterile scent of her laboratory. "What did you find?" Celeste's fingers flew over her tablet as she pulled up complex waveform analyses. "Their communication contains embedded quantum signatures. This isn't just a military fleet. They're using technology that shouldn't exist according to our physics. But more importantly..." She paused, her green eyes meeting Jackson's with an intensity that made his stomach flip. "There are secondary transmissions, encrypted. Someone else is trying to communicate with us." General Stone frowned. "Explain." "There's a faction within their ranks that doesn't agree with this ultimatum," Celeste continued, her excitement growing. "The signal patterns suggest they want to make contact, but they're being careful. Very careful." Jackson found himself leaning closer to study her data, close enough that he could feel the warmth radiating from her skin. "Can you decode it?" Their eyes met and held for a moment longer than necessary. The attraction that had been building between them over months of working together on theoretical first contact scenarios suddenly felt incredibly real and urgent. In the face of humanity's possible extinction, every moment seemed precious. "I think so," Celeste whispered, her voice slightly breathless. "But I'll need help. Your tactical analysis skills combined with my linguistic protocols." "Whatever you need," Jackson said immediately. "We work together." General Stone nodded approvingly. "Do it. Take whatever resources you need. Conference Room 7 is secure and has direct access to our quantum processors." As they gathered their equipment, Jackson's best friend and chief engineer Kira Voss approached. Her spiky black hair and oil-stained coveralls marked her as someone who spent more time with machines than people, but her grin was infectious. "So the aliens finally showed up," Kira said with typical irreverence. "About time. I was getting bored with just human technology." She glanced between Jackson and Celeste, with knowing eyes. "Try not to get too distracted by the pretty scientist, Jax. We need you focused." Jackson felt heat rise in his cheeks. "Kira," What? I'm just saying what everyone already knows. You two have been dancing around each other for months. Kira's expression grew serious. But really, be careful, all of you. These aliens don't seem like they're here to make friends. In conference room 7, Jackson and Celeste worked side by side, their shoulders occasionally brushing as they leaned over shared displays. The hidden alien transmission was incredibly complex, but slowly they began to decode patterns within patterns. There, Celeste breathed, pointing to a section of code. That's definitely intentional. It's a greeting protocol, but modified. They're trying to establish trust. Jackson studied the tactical implications. If this is legitimate, they're taking enormous risks. Revealing themselves could mean execution by their own people. Humanity has that effect on people, Celeste said softly, her hand accidentally brushing his as she reached for another data pad. The contact sent electricity through both of them. We inspire others to be brave. Their work was interrupted by an incoming transmission. The screens flickered to life, showing not the cold visage of War Commander Valdris, but a different alien, entirely. This one had the same elongated features but softer coloring, pale blue skin and eyes like starlight. Greetings, people of Earth, the alien said in accented but clear English. My name is Zephyr of the Nexari. I am a member of the Galactic Council, but I do not agree with this war. My people have studied your species for decades, and we believe you represent something precious: hope, creativity, and the courage to love even in the face of extinction. Jackson and Celeste exchanged glances. The alien's words about love seemed to resonate between them. Zephyr continued, I risk everything to contact you, but I believe your species deserves a chance. I can provide intelligence about our fleet's vulnerabilities, but you must act quickly. Valdris grows suspicious of those who question his methods. The transmission ended, leaving them in stunned silence. Celeste was the first to speak. He's beautiful, she whispered, then caught herself. I mean from a xenobiological perspective. His neural patterns suggest high emotional intelligence. Jackson felt a stab of unexpected jealousy. You think he's attractive? Celeste's cheeks flushed pink. Jackson, She stepped closer, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. There's only one person I find attractive right now, and he's standing right in front of me. The confession hung in the air between them. Months of suppressed attraction, of professional distance, of wondering what if suddenly crystallized into this moment. Jackson reached up to cup her face, his thumb tracing the curve of her cheekbone. Celeste, I've wanted to tell you for so long. Then don't just tell me, she breathed, her lips inches from his. Show me. Their kiss was desperate and hungry, fueled by the knowledge that tomorrow might never come. Celeste's hands fisted in his uniform shirt as Jackson pressed her against the wall, their bodies fitting together perfectly. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. This is crazy, Celeste whispered against his lips. The timing, the situation, maybe, Jackson agreed, his forehead resting against hers. But if we're about to face extinction, I want to face it with you. I want to fight for a future where we can be together. Their moment was interrupted by Kira's voice over the intercom. Jax, you need to see this. We've got multiple bogies breaking orbit. They're not just posturing anymore. The screens in the conference room lit up with tactical displays. Alien fighters were descending toward Earth's major cities, their weapons charging. The 72-hour ultimatum had apparently been a lie. They're starting the attack early, Jackson realized, his military training kicking in. We need to evacuate civilian populations and prepare our defenses. Celeste grabbed his arm. Wait. Zephyr said he could provide intelligence about their vulnerabilities. If we can contact him again. Do it, Jackson said immediately. I'll coordinate with General Stone on our defensive positions. But Celeste, he pulled her close for one more quick kiss. This isn't over. When we save Earth, we're going to explore this thing between us. Her smile was radiant despite the circumstances. I'll hold you to that promise, Captain. As alarms continued to blare throughout the facility, Jackson felt something he hadn't experienced since childhood: true hope. Not just for humanity's survival, but for love, for a future beyond war, for the chance to show the galaxy that humans didn't just fight for territory or resources, they fought for each other. The underground command center had transformed into a war room within hours. Holographic displays showed alien fighters descending on major cities while Earth's hastily assembled defense fleet prepared for what many believed would be humanity's final battle. Captain Jackson Rivers stood at the central tactical display, his jaw set with determination as he coordinated defensive positions. Dr. Celeste Nova worked frantically at her station, her fingers dancing across quantum communication arrays as she attempted to re-establish contact with Zephyr. The alien's promise of intelligence about fleet vulnerabilities could be the key to humanity's survival, but the window of opportunity was closing fast. "Jackson," Celeste called out, her voice tight with urgency. "I'm getting something." Zephyr is trying to break through their communication blackout. He moved to her side immediately, his hand settling on her shoulder in a gesture that was both protective and intimate. The simple touch sent warmth through both of them despite the chaos surrounding them. The screen flickered to life, showing Zephyr's concerned face. The alien's starlight eyes were filled with worry as he spoke in hushed tones. "Celeste, Jackson, I do not have much time. Valdris has discovered my communications and placed me under surveillance, but I have learned something crucial." His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. "Their primary command ship has a critical weakness. The quantum shields that protect it require perfect synchronization between 3 generator nodes. If you can disable even one node, the entire defensive grid will collapse." Celeste leaned forward, her scientific mind already working. "Where are these nodes located?" "2 are protected deep within the ship's core, but the third—" Zephyr's expression grew hopeful. "The third is located on an external array. It was designed this way to allow for rapid field repairs, but it also makes it vulnerable to precise attack." Jackson studied the tactical implications. "We'd need to get close enough to target it with surgical precision. That means breaking through their fighter screen and getting within weapons range of their command ship." "It's suicide," General Stone interjected, having overheard the conversation. "Our fighters don't have the speed or maneuverability to get that close." "Actually," Kira Voss's voice came from across the room, "they might." She approached with a tablet displaying modified fighter schematics. "I've been working on integrating some of the alien tech fragments we recovered from their scouts. If we can retrofit one of our fastest interceptors with their propulsion system, it would be a one-way mission," Jackson said grimly. "The pilot would have to get close enough to target the node, then likely wouldn't make it out alive." Celeste's hand found his, their fingers intertwining. "Then we'll have to make sure that doesn't happen. Zephyr, is there any way you can create a distraction? Something to draw their attention away from the attack?" The alien's expression was troubled. I could attempt to disable some of their internal systems, but if I am discovered, the consequences will be severe." "You're already risking everything to help us," Jackson said firmly. "We won't ask you to do more than you can." Zephyr's eyes seemed to brighten slightly. "Your species continues to amaze me. Even facing extinction, you show concern for others. This is why some of us believe you deserve to survive." The transmission cut out, leaving them with their desperate plan. Over the next several hours, Kira worked frantically to retrofit Jackson's personal fighter with alien technology, while Celeste coordinated with Earth's remaining defense forces. As the sun set over the Colorado mountains, Jackson found Celeste in the quiet of the briefing room, staring out at the stars where alien ships waited to deliver humanity's doom. She'd changed from her lab coat into a fitted flight suit, her auburn hair pulled back in a practical ponytail that somehow made her look even more beautiful. "You're coming with me," he said. It wasn't a question. She turned to face him, her emerald eyes reflecting starlight. "Someone needs to coordinate the technical aspects of disabling their node, and besides," she stepped closer, her voice dropping to a whisper, "I'm not letting you face this alone." Jackson reached for her, pulling her into his arms. "Celeste, if we don't make it back, we will," she said firmly, her hands resting on his chest. "We have to. Humanity needs hope, and love is the strongest hope of all. Their kiss was deeper this time, filled with promise and desperate passion. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. "I love you," Jackson whispered against her lips. "I should have said it sooner." "I love you too," she replied, her voice thick with emotion. "Now let's go save the world so we can have a future together." The modified fighter was a thing of beauty. Sleek human engineering merged with alien technology that hummed with otherworldly power. As they strapped in, Kira's voice came through their headsets. "The alien propulsion system is integrated, but it's unstable. You'll have maybe 10 minutes of enhanced speed before it burns out. Make them count." They launched into the star-filled sky, Earth's defense fleet forming up around them. Alien fighters swarmed like angry wasps, their weapons lighting up the darkness. But Jackson and Celeste's modified ship moved like liquid mercury, dodging and weaving through the enemy formation, with impossible grace. "There," Celeste pointed to the massive command ship looming ahead. "I can see the external array, third node from the left." Jackson's hands flew over the controls, pushing their fighter into a spiraling approach that avoided the worst of the enemy. Fire. Behind them, Earth's fighters engaged the alien screen, buying them precious seconds. Suddenly, explosions erupted across the alien command ship's hull. Internal lights flickered and died in sections as Zephyr's sabotage took effect. "Did it," Celeste breathed. "He's giving us our chance." They dove toward the external array, weapons charging. The targeting computer locked onto the node just as alien fighters closed in from all sides. Jackson's finger hovered over the trigger. "Now!" Celeste shouted. The modified weapons system fired, enhanced by alien technology. The energy beam struck the node with surgical precision, and the effect was immediate. The massive command ship's shields flickered and died, leaving it vulnerable to attack. "All units, target the command ship." General Stone's voice crackled through their headsets. "Their shields are down." Earth's remaining fighters swarmed the massive vessel, their weapons finding targets that had been protected moments before. Explosions rippled across the command ship's hull as critical systems failed, but their victory came at a cost. The modified propulsion system finally gave out, leaving them adrift among the alien fighters. Enemy weapons targeted their disabled ship. "Jackson," Celeste said softly, taking his hand. "Whatever happens next, I want you to know that loving you has been the most beautiful part of my life." He squeezed her hand, preparing for the end. But instead of weapons fire, they heard Zephyr's voice over their communicator. "Jackson, Celeste, this is Zephyr. I have taken control of the command ship systems. You are under my protection." Around them, the alien fighters began to withdraw. The command ship, now under Zephyr's control, powered down its weapons. Across the fleet, other ships followed suit as word spread of Valdris's defeat. "It's over," Celeste whispered in amazement. "We won." Their rescue came in the form of Kira's voice over the radio. "Sit tight, lovebirds, I'm coming to get you." Back at the command center, celebrations erupted as news of the victory spread. But for Jackson and Celeste, the real celebration was private. In the quiet of the briefing room where they'd shared their first kiss, they held each other close. "So, what happens now?" Celeste asked, her head resting on his chest. "Now we build a future," Jackson said, stroking her hair. "With our new allies, with the galaxy watching, we show them what humanity can really do when we're not fighting for survival." "And us?" she asked, looking up at him with those beautiful green eyes. "Us?" He smiled, pulling her closer. "We get to explore this thing between us without the world ending around us. We get to be together, to love each other, to maybe even start a family someday." Their kiss was soft and full of promise. Outside, the stars no longer held threat, but infinite possibility. Humanity had not only survived first contact with the galaxy, they had gained allies, proven their worth, and discovered that love truly could conquer all. As Zephyr's ship descended toward Earth's surface, carrying the first official alien ambassador to humanity, Jackson and Celeste knew they were witnessing the dawn of a new age, an age where humans and aliens could work together, where love could bridge any gap, and where the future held endless possibilities. The galaxy had tried to break humanity's spirit, but instead had witnessed its greatest strength, the power of love to inspire courage, sacrifice, and hope. And in that moment, wrapped in each other's arms, Jackson and Celeste knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. The war was over. Love had won,